Stop scrolling. If you have old pennies at home, this could be the most important video you watch today. Some rare Lincoln pennies have sold for life-changing money. We're talking hundreds of thousands, even millions. And most people don't even realize what they're holding. Let's uncover the top 5 coins you need to check right now before it's too late. But here's the truth. Some of the most valuable coins in American history were once dismissed as ordinary pocket change. And today we're uncovering one of the most mysterious, misunderstood, and potentially life-changing coins you could still own. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark. Before you brush this off as just another old coin, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you look at every penny you've ever saved. Let's go back in time. It's 1944. The world is deep in World War II. Metal is scarce. Copper is needed for ammunition, wiring, and military equipment. In 1943, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic shift, producing pennies out of zinc-coated steel instead of copper. But in 1944, something strange happened. The mint returned to copper, but not entirely. A few leftover steel planchets. The blanks used to strike coins were accidentally or perhaps mysteriously used again. And that's where the story gets interesting. Because while millions of 1944 pennies were struck in copper, a tiny number were mistakenly struck in steel. And those rare errors, they are now among the most valuable coins ever discovered. Now here's the part that should make your heart race. A genuine 1944 steel penny, especially one with no mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, has sold for hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million depending on condition. Yes, a penny, 0.1 cent, becoming a millionaire's ticket. Let that sink in for a second. But wait, before you run to your coin jar, there's a twist. Not every 1944 no mint mark penny is worth millions. In fact, most are worth just a few cents to a few dollars. So what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? This is where things get serious. First, the metal. A standard 1944 penny should be made of copper. It will have that familiar reddish-brown tone. But the ultra-rare version is made of steel. That means it looks silver or gray, almost like the 1943 steel penny. Here's a quick test. Grab a magnet. If your 1944 penny sticks to a magnet, stop everything, because that's not normal. And that could be your first sign that you're holding something incredibly rare. Now, let me ask you something. How many people do you think have thrown away or spent one of these rare coins without ever realizing it? Thousands? Maybe more. That's the scary part. Valuable coins don't come with warning labels. They don't glow. They don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight. And that's exactly why collectors and smart sellers are always on alert. Because opportunities like this don't come twice. Now let's talk numbers. A confirmed 1944 steel wheat penny with no mint mark, in high-grade condition, has sold for over $1 million in private sales and auctions. Even lower-grade examples have fetched $100,000 to $500,000. That's the kind of money that can change your life. Pay off your house, retire early, travel the world. All from a coin most people would overlook. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There are also other rare variations of the 1944 no mint mark penny that can still bring in serious money. For example, coins with strong strikes, deep original luster, and minimal wear can sell for thousands of dollars even if they're made of copper. And then there are error coins, double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets. Each of these errors adds a layer of rarity and value, sometimes dramatically. Now imagine this. You're going through an old jar of coins, maybe something passed down from a parent or grandparent. You almost ignore the pennies because, let's be honest, who gets excited about pennies? But then, you remember this video. You slow down. You start checking dates. 1944, no mint mark. You grab a magnet, and suddenly, your ordinary day turns into a moment you'll never forget. This is why knowledge is power, and in the coin world, knowledge is profit. But here's the thing most people won't tell you. Finding a rare coin is only half the battle. Knowing what to do next, that's where people either make a fortune or lose one. If you believe you found a rare 1944 penny, especially one that looks like steel, do not clean it. I repeat, do not clean the coin. Even a small attempt to polish or wipe it can destroy its value instantly. Collectors want originality. They want authenticity. They want history untouched. The next step, get it authenticated. Professional grading services can confirm whether your coin is genuine and assign it a grade that determines its market value. This step is critical, because in the world of rare coins, a proof is everything. And here's where urgency comes in. The market for rare coins is constantly evolving. Demand rises. Prices fluctuate. Opportunities come and go. Right now, interest in rare Lincoln pennies is surging, driven by collectors, investors, and even everyday people looking for hidden wealth. That means timing matters. Holding onto a valuable coin without proper evaluation could cost you. Let me put it this way. Would you leave a winning lottery ticket sitting in a drawer, unclaimed? Of course not. And yet, that's exactly what people do every single day with rare coins. Now, let's bring this full circle. The 1944 no-mint mark. Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a coin. It's a piece of history, a wartime artifact, a mistake that turned into a masterpiece. And for a small number of lucky individuals, it's a gateway to financial freedom. But here's the cliffhanger. What if the coin you're looking for isn't just in your collection? What if it's already in your house, right now? Hidden in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, or even your pocket change? Take a moment. Think about that. Because the difference between someone who changes their life and someone who doesn't is simple. Point one person checks. The other doesn't. So here's your move. After this video ends, go find your coins. Start with your pennies. Look for 1944. Check for no mint mark. Test it with a magnet. And most importantly, don't ignore what you find, because the next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," you'll know better. You'll know that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. And who knows? The next millionaire story might just start with you. You're holding it right now. Or maybe it's sitting forgotten in a jar, buried in a drawer, or passed down from someone who had no idea what they had. A single penny, just 1 cent. But what if I told you that one specific coin, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, could quietly be worth not just thousands, but potentially millions of dollars under the right conditions? Before you dismiss this as another exaggerated coin story, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Not glanced, but really looked. Because what you're about to discover might change how you see every coin you've ever touched. This is not just about a coin. This is about hidden wealth, overlooked history, and the very real possibility that life-changing money could already be in your possession. Let's begin. The year was 1941. The world stood on the edge of transformation. America had not yet fully entered World War II, but the tension was building. During this time, millions of Lincoln wheat pennies were struck, simple, everyday currency designed for circulation, not investment. These coins featured the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and growth. Most people spent them without a second thought. And that's exactly why some of them became so valuable. You see, the 1941 penny with no mint mark was produced in Philadelphia, where mint marks were not used at the time. Over 887 million of these coins were struck. Yes, hundreds of millions. So how can something so common become worth a fortune? Here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Within those millions of pennies, a tiny fraction possess unique characteristics, rare errors, exceptional preservation, or unusual striking qualities that transform them from pocket change into collector gold. And this is where opportunity meets awareness. Imagine this. 2 identical coins, same year, same design. But one sells for a few cents, while the other sells for hundreds of thousands, or even over $1 million. Why? Condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1941 penny that has been worn down by decades of use might be worth only a few cents. But a coin preserved in near-perfect condition, what experts call mint state, can command astonishing prices. Now here's the part most people don't realize. There are grades within mint state, and at the very top, MS67, MS68 or higher, you enter an entirely different universe of valued. In fact, a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, graded at the highest known levels and exhibiting flawless surfaces, deep luster, and sharp detail, has sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in rare, exceptional cases with unique attributes or errors, valuations can climb into the hundreds of thousands and potentially beyond. But wait, there's more. Because condition alone isn't the only factor. Let's talk about errors. Coin errors are the hidden jackpots of the collecting world. These are mistakes made during the minting process: double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, or even doubled lettering. And when these errors occur on older coins like the 1941 penny, their value can skyrocket. Now imagine combining a high-grade coin with a rare error. That's when things get explosive. There have been cases where collectors paid extraordinary sums for coins that most people would overlook in seconds. And here's the unsettling truth. Those coins were once in circulation. They passed through hands just like yours. They were spent at grocery stores, dropped in tip jars, or forgotten in piggy banks. Until someone noticed us. Oh, let me ask you again. What if one of those coins is sitting in your home right now? This is where most people make a critical mistake. They assume valuable coins must look special, shiny, different, obvious. But that's not always true. Some of the most valuable coins in history look completely ordinary to the untrained eye. Slight variations, tiny details, subtle differences in texture, color, or alignment. And if you don't know what to look for, you'll miss it. That's the danger. Because every day, valuable coins are unknowingly spent, lost, or discarded. And every time that happens, someone loses a hidden opportunity. Now here's the exciting part. You don't need to be a professional collector to identify potential value. Start simple. Check the date, 1941. Look for the absence of a mint mark under the date. Examine the condition. Are the details sharp? Can you clearly see Lincoln's hair? The wheat lines on the reverse? Then look closer. Do you notice anything unusual? Doubling in the letters? Misalignment? Strange marks that don't look like damage? These could be clues, and clues lead to discovery. But here's the twist. Even if your coin looks average, it could still hold surprising value depending on its grade. That's why professional grading services exist, to authenticate and evaluate coins with precision. Now, let's talk about something most people don't want to hear. Time is not on your side. Every year, fewer high-quality coins remain in existence. Coins get damaged, lost, or destroyed. The supply shrinks while demand continues to grow. And when demand rises against limited supply, prices move fast. Collectors, investors, and dealers are constantly searching for these coins. They know what's at stake. They understand the potential. The question is, do you? Because ignoring this could mean leaving serious money on the table. And not just small money. We're talking about the kind of money that can change lifestyles, pay off debts, create freedom. All from something as small as a penny. Now let's bring this full circle. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is not just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden value, $2 million, of overlooked opportunity, of the idea that wealth doesn't always appear where we expect it. Sometimes, it's disguised as something ordinary, and that's what makes it powerful. But here's the cliffhanger. What if the coin you're holding isn't just valuable, but extraordinarily rare? What if it has a subtle error that only experts recognize? What if it's in better condition than you realize? And what if someone else finds out before you do? That's the risk. Because in this space, knowledge is not just power, it's profit. So here's what you need to do next. Go find your coins. Check your jars, drawers, old collections, inherited boxes. Take your time. Look closely. Be curious. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and $1 million discovery often comes down to one thing: attention. And remember this, every major coin discovery started with someone taking a second look. Why not you? Because the next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," you'll know better. And that knowledge alone might be worth millions. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, sitting quietly in your drawer right now, could be worth more than a luxury home? Not a joke. Not hype. Not a clickbait fantasy. A real coin. A real story. And possibly your real opportunity. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked coins in American history, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. A coin most people ignore, spend, or toss into jars without a second thought. But under the right conditions, with the right characteristics, this ordinary-looking penny has shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and in rare cases, reached values that feel almost unbelievable. So before you skip this video, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? because by the end of this video, you might never look at them the same way again. Let's start with the story. The year is 1951. America is in a post-war boom. Factories are alive, the economy is growing, and the U.S. Mint is producing millions of coins to keep up with demand. Among them, the Lincoln Wheat Penny, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the reversed I in Denver, marked with a small D mint mark beneath the date. Millions of these pennies were struck, and that's exactly why most people assume they're worthless. Millions minted? Then how could it be rare? That's where things get interesting, because in the world of coin collecting, rarity is not just about how many were made, it's about how many survived in perfect condition. And more importantly, how many were struck with unique, rare characteristics that make collectors compete aggressively. Now here's where your heart should start beating a little faster, because among the millions of 1951 D pennies, a tiny fraction stand apart. Coins with exceptional mint state grades, coins with flawless surfaces, coins with deep, rich color, and coins with rare minting errors. These are the coins that can transform a single cent into thousands, tens of thousands, and in extreme, once-in-a-lifetime scenarios, values that push toward the million-dollar conversation. Sounds crazy? Let's break it down. Imagine holding 2 identical-looking pennies, same year, same mint mark, same design. But one is worn, scratched, and dull, maybe worth a few cents. The other? Sharp details, bright luster, no visible wear. Almost like it was frozen in time since 1951. That second coin could be worth thousands. Why? Because collectors aren't buying coins. They're buying perfection. They're buying history preserved in its purest form. And when a coin achieves a top-tier grade like MS-67 or higher, its value skyrockets due to extreme scarcity at that level. Now here's the twist. Very few 1951 D pennies exist in such pristine condition. Most entered circulation. Most were used, dropped, scratched, forgotten. Which means finding one in near-perfect condition today is like finding a needle in a haystack. But wait, it gets even more exciting, because condition is only half the story. Let's talk about errors. And this is where things start to feel like a treasure hunt. Minting errors are accidental imperfections created during the coin production process. And while most mistakes are destroyed, a few slip through. These coins become legends. For the 1951 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, collectors have identified several types of rare errors that can dramatically increase value. We're talking about double dies, where the design appears slightly duplicated. Off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, and die cracks or anomalies that create unique, one-of-a-kind patterns. Now imagine this. You're sorting through old coins late at night, maybe out of curiosity, maybe out of boredom, and suddenly, you notice something strange. The letters don't look right. The date looks doubled. The design seems off. That moment, that's the moment collectors dream about, because that could be the difference between a penny and a payday. But here's where I need to be honest with you. Not every 1951 D penny is worth a fortune. In fact, most are still worth only a few cents to a few dollars. And that's exactly why so many valuable coins are still out there. Hidden, ignored, undiscovered, because people assume they're worthless without ever checking. And that assumption is costing people real money. Let me ask you something. You have a jar of old coins somewhere in your house. Maybe in a drawer, a box, or tucked away in storage. When was the last time you actually looked at them closely? Not just glanced, but really examined them, because if you haven't, you could be sitting on something valuable without even knowing it. Now let's talk numbers. High-grade 1951 D Lincoln Wheat Pennies, especially those graded at the very top of the scale, have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Coins with exceptional red coloration, meaning they retained their original copper shine, are especially valuable. Add a rare mint error into the mix, and suddenly you're looking at values that can explode dramatically. And while million-dollar examples are extremely rare and often tied to unique conditions or extraordinary provenance, the idea isn't as far-fetched as it sounds, because the coin market has already seen pennies sell for hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million in certain historic cases. So the real question becomes, what if yours is one of the rare ones? Now here's the part most people miss. Timing. The coin market is constantly evolving. Demand rises. Prices shift. New collectors enter the space. And as more people start searching for valuable coins, the supply of high-quality pieces becomes even tighter. which drives prices higher. In other words, waiting could cost you. Because the longer rare coins stay hidden, the more valuable they become, and the moment they're discovered, the competition begins. Let's pause for a second. Quick question. If you found a penny worth $10,000, would you sell it immediately? Or would you hold on to it, hoping it becomes even more valuable? There's no right answer, but that decision could change your financial future. Now here's your next step. If you have a 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, don't guess its value. Verify it. Look at the condition. Check for errors. Examine the color. Is it brown, red-brown, or full red? And most importantly, consider having it professionally graded. Because in this market, authentication is everything. A certified coin doesn't just have value. It has trust. And trust is what buyers pay for. But don't stop there. Because the real opportunity isn't just in one coin. It's in developing the eye, the knowledge, and the habit of checking every coin you come across. Because once you realize what's possible, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. And here's the cliffhanger you didn't see coming. Some of the most valuable coins ever discovered weren't found by experts. They were found by ordinary people, people like you. People who simply took the time to look. So tonight, before you scroll to the next video, do one thing. Find your coins, spread them out, and start looking. Because hidden in plain sight could be a piece of history, a collector's dream, and maybe, just maybe, your ticket to a completely different life. And if you want to learn how to identify the exact features that separate a common penny from a life-changing one, stay with us. Because in the next video, we're revealing the specific signs that most people miss, and once you see them, you'll never miss them again. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a coin most people ignore, drop, or leave in their car cup holder, could secretly be worth more than your house? Not a rare gold coin, not a centuries-old artifact, a simple 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, with no mint mark. Now before you roll your eyes and think, yeah right, I've got a jar full of those, let me ask you one question. What if just one of them could change your financial future? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could make you look at every penny you own very differently. Let's start with the basics. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during a fascinating period in American history, post-war America, a time of rebuilding, growth, and quiet economic transformation. Millions of these coins were produced, especially those without a mint mark, meaning they were struck in Philadelphia. And that's exactly why most people overlook them, because they're common. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1951 no-mint mark pennies are created equal, and some are hiding secrets. Now imagine this: you're going through an old drawer, maybe a jar of coins you inherited, maybe something your parents left behind. You spot a worn 1951 penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But what if that coin, right there in your hand, has a tiny detail, a barely noticeable difference, that could push its value from 1 cent to thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Sounds crazy? Let's go deeper. The truth is, the value of a 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny depends heavily on condition and rarity. In average circulated condition, these coins might only be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars. Not exactly life-changing. But here's the twist. In pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, these coins can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And then, there are the exceptions. The outliers. The coins that break all expectations. Let me explain something that most people don't realize. Coin collecting isn't just about age. It's about perfection. The fewer marks, the sharper the details, the richer the color, the higher the value climbs. And 1951 penny graded at the highest levels, like MS 66 or MS 67, can command serious money at auction. We're talking thousands of dollars. But here's where it gets even more exciting, because sometimes it's not just about condition, it's about mistakes. Yes, mistakes in the world of coin collecting. Errors are like hidden jackpots. And the 1951 penny has a few. Think about it. A slight doubling in the letters .a, an off-center strike .a, die crack that creates a unique pattern .to the average person. These might look like flaws. But to collectors, they're rare signatures. And rarity is where the money lives. Now here's a question for you. How closely have you ever looked at your coins? I mean, really looked. Because most people don't. They glance. They spend. They forget. And that's exactly why valuable coins continue to slip through the cracks. Every single day, let's talk about real potential. While a standard 1951 no-mint mark penny won't hit millions on its own, certain rare variations, combined with exceptional condition, can push values into astonishing territory. And here's the part that should grab your attention. The coin market doesn't stay static. Values change. Demand shifts. And when collectors start chasing a specific coin, prices can skyrocket. Picture this scenario: a collector is building a high-end Lincoln wheat penny set. They need a flawless 1951 Philadelphia coin, but there are only a handful in existence at that level. What happens next? Competition. Bidding wars. Prices climbing higher and higher and higher, and suddenly, a coin that once seemed ordinary becomes a prize. Now let's pause for a second, because I know what you might be thinking. If these coins are so valuable, why haven't I heard about this before? Fair question. And the answer is simple. Most people aren't paying attention. But you are. And that already puts you ahead. Let's bring this closer to home. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is cashing in a coin collection they ignored for years. Right now, a dealer is examining pennies under a magnifying glass, searching for that one rare detail, and right now, there's a very real chance that valuable coins are sitting in everyday homes, completely unnoticed. Maybe even yours. Now here's where urgency comes in. Because the longer you wait, the higher the risk. Coins get lost. They get spent. They get damaged. And once that happens, the opportunity is gone. Forever. So what should you do? Start simple. Go through your coins. Look for 1951 pennies with no mint mark. Check the condition. Look for unusual features, doubling, misalignment, anything that seems off. And most importantly, don't clean them. Seriously, don't do it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. Think of it like polishing an antique painting with sandpaper. Not a great idea, right? Now let's take this one step further. If you believe you found something special, get it evaluated. Professional grading services can authenticate and grade your coin, giving it a certified value, and that certification, it's what serious buyers trust. But here's the real takeaway. This isn't just about one coin. It's about a mindset. A shift in how you see everyday objects. Because hidden value is everywhere. Most people just don't know how to recognize it. Let me ask you something. What would it mean for you to discover something valuable in your own home? Not win the lottery. Not depend on luck. But find something that was already yours. That's a different kind of wealth. And it starts with awareness. Now imagine this. You're sitting at your table. A few coins spread out in front of you. One of them stands out. You send it in for grading. Weeks later, the results come back. High grade. Rare variation. Suddenly, you're holding something worth far more than you ever expected. That moment, that's real. And it happens more often than you think. But here's the cliffhanger. What if the coin you're overlooking right now is the one? What if it's already in your possession, and you just haven't noticed yet? Because the truth is, opportunities like this don't announce themselves. They sit quietly, they wait, and they reward the people who are willing to look closer. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, take 5 minutes, open that drawer, check that jar, look through those old coins, because hidden among them could be a 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. That's worth far more than 1 cent, and maybe, just maybe, it's worth the beginning of something bigger, your discovery, your opportunity, your next step toward a wealthier future. And remember, the difference between those who find value and those who miss it is simple. Point one looks, the other doesn't. So the question is, which one are you? You're holding a simple penny, copper, worn, ordinary, the kind most people toss into a jar, forget in a drawer, or spend without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, could be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but potentially life-changing money? Before you dismiss that idea, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked the pennies in your pocket? Because what you're about to hear might make you look at every single coin differently, forever. The year is 1957. America is booming. Cars are bigger, dreams are bolder, and millions of pennies are being minted in Philadelphia, which means they carry no mint mark. These coins were everywhere, passed from hand to hand, used for candy, newspapers, parking meters. And today, most people assume they're still just worth 1 cent. That assumption is exactly what creates opportunity. Because hidden among those millions of ordinary coins are a few extraordinary ones. Coins with subtle differences, tiny details, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but worth a fortune to collectors. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 1957 no-mint mark penny isn't valuable just because of its age. No, age alone doesn't make a coin rare. What makes it valuable is condition, rarity, and most importantly, errors. Let me explain. Imagine two identical pennies from 1957. Same design, same year, same origin, but one is worn, scratched, and faded, while the other looks like it just left the mint yesterday. Sharp details, blazing luster, untouched surfaces. That second coin? That's where the money is. In pristine condition, what collectors call mint state. A 1957 no-mint mark penny can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But wait, that's just the beginning. Because there's a version of this coin that changes everything. And if you're not paying attention, you could miss it completely. Let's talk about the error coins. Specifically, the legendary 1957 double die obverse. Now, if that sounds complicated, don't worry. Here's what it means in simple terms. During the minting process, something went wrong. The design was stamped more than once, slightly misaligned, creating a visible doubling effect on the lettering. We're talking about noticeable doubling on words like liberty and in God we trust. And here's the crazy part. Some of these coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, from a single penny. Let that sink in. Now imagine this. You've had a jar of old coins sitting in your home for years, maybe decades. And inside that jar, there's a 1957 penny. You've seen it 100 times, but never really looked at it. What if that coin has doubling? And you never noticed? That's not just money sitting idle. That's opportunity slipping through your fingers. And here's where things get even more intense. Collectors don't just pay for rarity, they pay for graded perfection. Coins that have been professionally graded and certified can skyrocket in value. A high-grade 1957 penny with strong doubling and pristine condition? That's where you start hearing numbers that don't sound real. 0.5 figures. Sometimes more. Now, are all 1957 pennies worth millions? No. And anyone who tells you that every coin is a jackpot is misleading you. But here's the truth most people don't realize. It only takes 1.1 coin, 0.1 discovery, 0.1 moment of attention that could completely change your financial situation. So the question becomes, are you willing to look? Let's be honest for a second. If I handed you a random penny right now, would you even check it? Or would you say, it's just a penny, and move on? That mindset is exactly why valuable coins keep slipping through the cracks. Now let's bring this back to you. Right now, somewhere in your home, there's a chance. Maybe it's in a jar. Maybe it's in a drawer. Maybe it's mixed in with loose change in your car. And inside that pile, there could be a 1957 no-mint mark penny. The difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable one comes down to a few key things. Condition. Look for coins that still shine with clear details and minimal wear. Errors. Pay close attention to doubling in the lettering. Use a magnifying glass if you have one dot color. Original red copper coins are often more valuable than dark or brown ones. And most importantly, don't rush. Because the biggest mistake people make is not looking closely enough. Now imagine this scenario. You find a 1957 penny. You inspect it carefully. And suddenly you notice something unusual. The letters look doubled, slightly off. Your heart starts racing. You compare it with images online. It matches. At that moment, everything changes. That penny is no longer just a coin. It's an asset, a piece of history, a potential gateway to financial freedom. And here's the part most people overlook. The market for rare coins is still alive, still growing. Collectors are constantly searching. Auctions are happening every day, and demand for rare, high-quality coins continues to rise. Which means, if you have the right coin, at the right time, you're in control. But before you start digging through your coins, there's one critical mistake that could cost you thousands. And almost everyone makes it: cleaning your coin. Yes, something as simple as trying to make it look better can actually destroy its value. Collectors want originality. They want authenticity. Even slight cleaning can reduce a coin's worth dramatically. So if you find something that looks promising, don't touch it. Don't clean it. Get it evaluated by a professional. Because the difference between a $50 coin and a $5,000 coin can come down to one small decision. Think about this. Right now, millions of people are walking around with coins they never check, opportunities they never see, value they never realize. Don't be one of them, because the next time you see a penny, you have a choice: ignore it or inspect it. That one decision could mean the difference between staying where you are and stepping into a completely different financial reality. And who knows, the next life-changing coin might already be in your possession, waiting, unnoticed, until now.